All right. Good morning, all you comic book aficionados, cool cats and kittens, ladies and gentlemen, superheroes, supervillains, comic pros, collectors, just whoever is out there. Good morning. And this is Easter morning. So happy Easter. I hope you get to, and of course, oh my goodness, the computer tried to update right when we got started. So, anyway, it's a beautiful Sunday morning. Not a rainy Sunday this morning, but it's still a good day to talk about comics. And I also hope you get to watch your Charlie Brown Easter special today. If you have it on VHS or DVD, I've got it floating around here somewhere. But anyway, not a Sunday morning. For you new people, rainy day Sunday harkens back to when I was a kid. You couldn't go outside and play because it was raining. So I'd grab a stack of comic books from the stepdad or uncle's collections and pile up on the bed and spend the morning while it's raining outside reading comics. Perfect. It was fantastic. So anyway, it's been a little bit of an eventful week. We are car hunting, so I get to ride around a little bit, pick up a few things, and found a flea market that had some fantastic magazines. And I would have gotten a better deal on them if the actual vendor was there. He had some people watching his stuff that they knew well enough to sell his stuff, but I couldn't really haggle the way I wanted. Ended up saving some stuff from the get rid of box. And I'm doing a few things here where I am filling in gaps or completing stories and things like that, right? So it's been a little bit laid back the last week or two here. Things have slowed down. And we are organizing the comic book room still. So we will be doing some kind of purge as we go along because I am spending more time fixing up this room and organizing than I am reading. And with that said about the reading, if you're interested in seeing these hauls ahead of time, interested to see some of the pulps and books and comics and stuff that I'm reading, I am Hallermouse on Instagram. And if you do Twitter, I'm on there. But basically, I follow James Gunn to keep up with the DC movie stuff, sprinkled throughout. I canceled my Twitter. I had something like 500 or 600 followers, got rid of it, came back when it got new management. And then I just kind of follow James Gunn and a few other things, but it's mostly hiking and state parks and things like that. So I know what's going on around here. But I kind of attach a few things from the Instagram. So yeah, some of this stuff I've already shown or already talked about if you follow me on the social media. So anyway, again, happy Easter. And if you're home and you're joining us, hey, what's up? Yeah, if you jumped in here, Graphic Man, everybody needs to check out his fossil show with all the fossils on it on Wednesday nights on Graphic Man channel. I'm going car hunting. Just been a little busy with life there. So unexpectedly got my car out of the garage and I need a new one. So that's what we've been doing. Nice. And the Sumerian, you popped in just in time, Sumerian. But to get on with things, I want to show you the Terrifics first. We'll save the Conan stuff, which I think is fantastic. I'll talk about that more. But basically, if you follow James Gunn or care about these things, I've always been more of a DC guy. I love my Superman movies unapologetically. It's not a DC versus Marvel thing. It's not I hate nor love the stuff going on with Disney. None of that stuff. There's plenty of things out there that talk about that stuff. I have opinions, but basically, I know James Gunn stuff just enough to know that he likes the quirky characters and stuff, right? And I should have followed my instincts because for like about a month before this, up into probably 3 or 4 days before he tweeted this, I think it was Josh Ingo. If you're out there, brother, what's up? I was actually talking about the Terrifics, and I thought this would be the kind of thing with the tone, with Plastic Man in there bringing in. You'll see who the Terrifics are in a minute. Plastic Man in there. There's things in there that just seem to be like that would be the tone and the humor and the things that bring it on for James Gunn, but I never acted on it. Now, luckily, I collected the series when it first came out. I think it was Jeff Lemire at that time when I still had the original Twitter account, ended up being another one of those creators. I think it was him who went out there and said some stupid stuff. And I'm like, man, I just want to read the comics without this crap. And I quit, but I ended up backing up and getting the last 4 or 5 issues or something that Jeff Lemire did to can do it. But what happened was James Gunn tweeted out a picture of the Terrifics. So I put it on Instagram, like, everybody hurry up and get this just in case. And the very next day, I posted a picture of like the almost $200 for 27 issues of the Terrifics on eBay. I found that people had stuck on there and stuff, varied prices. So if you don't know the Terrifics, it's a tongue-in-cheek little reaction to where there was no Fantastic Four book going on at Marvel due to movie licensing rights and stuff, right? So I was on board with this. I've been hearing great things about Jeff Lemire. I have no idea if I'd been reading his stuff before that. Jeff Lemire, Ivan Rice. I want to say this is around 2018, maybe. So I got on there and already had these, but I went ahead and got two number ones because number one, I love my Fantastic Four. Number two, it has a Legion of Superheroes character in it who is sort of kind of not her and sort of kind of is her. And that's what I mean. It was started out getting a little convoluted. It has Plastic Man, Metamorpho, Mr. Terrific. I'm like, how can I not love this? As a DC guy, of course, this is DC's Fantastic Four. And as you can see, it comes out of the DC Metal crossover Snyder did years ago. And the catch is they were all exposed to dark metal energy something. Sorry, guys, from 2015 on to here, you're not really going to get the Halopedia. You know what I mean? But anyway, they're all connected by this energy. They all have to stay within a mile of each other or they die. They blow up. And they used Metamorpho's supporting cast with the Stags and Sapphire and all this great stuff if you're a DC guy and stuff like that, to have a headquarters and Mr. Terrific's playing Reed Richards. And then you have Metamorpho and you have Metamorpho and Plastic Man going back and forth like Johnny Storm and things too. And they're having like these amazing adventures and stuff, right? So it was just a fun book to fill in a gap because Marvel didn't have a Fantastic Four book, right? So it ended up getting a little bit of a fan following. And I pulled these out of the get rid of box, went back and I started rereading a few because I thought it was fantastic. I mean, it was just a fun book. I can go on and on, right? But here's where things got kind of weird for me, right? With the way DC has done Alan Moore, they ended up bringing in Tom Strong. And it was around this time that there's a little bit of pushback with bringing in Alan Moore's Tom Strong with the history of Alan Moore with DC and everything like that. And people decided to choose sides. Oh my goodness, look at this. I'll show those in a minute. We're going to have a bonus. I apparently have some Black Hammer stuff in this stack. So here are the ones that I got to finish up Lemire's run. This thing ran between 27 and 29 issues, but due to the apocalypse of 2020, apparently the last 2-3 issues you only read online, but I'm sure they've been put in a trade somewhere and that trade may be worth something. But they ended up bringing in Dr. Dread, or something like that, or whatever his name is, right? And it's their version of Dr. Doom in this shiny foil cover. That's just so fantastic, right? And like I said, they're playing hard on the Fantastic Four angle, playing around with it with little in jokes and stuff, right? So yeah, I ended up going ahead. I didn't get the whole series, but I went ahead. I don't think FOMO hit me. But I also love, this is probably like the third or fourth cover I have of this. The one that's popping in my head is Grant Morrison's Invisibles. He has a cover or a trade cover, probably both, to his Invisibles, where they play on an old 60s image of the Beatles, if you will, right? If you like Laverne and Shirley and they moved to California, if you're that old, they actually have the poster up on their steps in their apartment. But so I'm dipping out. I got the Lemire stuff, classic, and like I said, it's a tongue-in-cheek take on Fantastic Four and Marvel, so you may recognize this cover that's been homaged many, many, many times going back to the Silver Age by Marvel, Avengers versus X-Men and all sorts of things like that. That's a classic idea of the heroes fighting and stuff. Those aren't heroes; those are evil imposters of the Four and stuff, right? So we're going to check that out and finish it up. Like I said, it was a fun series. I just hate when things get tainted by people acting stupid, especially at the time. Good morning. What's up? All right. Good morning. Let's get this up. There we go. Happy Easter to you. Comic Collector, what's up? Good to see you. Sumerian all over this. Yeah, DC's kind of take on the Fantastic Four written by Lemire being bad was not what I was expecting. It was more behavior of somebody that got me. Tried all those books, Sideways, Brimstone, none were great. I agree with that. Yeah, this was around a time where we got a wave of number one books from DC, and uh, yeah, there's all sorts of things that went on with that, right? So that's The Survivor. Like I said, the books aren't Shakespeare, but they're kind of fun. They're not really deep, very straightforward. This is very linear. This happens, this happens, this happens. Oh, we got a mystery. If you go back to this panel, you'll see somebody who's acting funny. There you go. Not very deep, right? Okay, so we'll show these Green Lantern books, and then I'll get to the Conan stuff. Like I said, not a big, huge haul or anything like that, right? But again, going by memory here, 2015 on up, you know, the Hallerpedia is not there. But I could talk about Green Lantern all day long from 52 back, you know. But anyway, Grant Morrison became editor-in-chief of Heavy Metal magazine, which was, it just seems like it fit. Like, why did that not happen sooner? You know, Grant Morrison, Heavy Metal magazine, of course. A bit more adult stuff, a bit more adult themes you can do in there, and all sorts of things, right? More controversial stuff that you just have the go ahead to do and stuff, right? So they did a couple things there that were very cool, and then all of a sudden Morrison came back to do some comics, right? And he ended up doing Green Lantern. Green Lantern there for a while. I don't know if it still does, but it suffered from X-Men syndrome, Swamp Thing syndrome, that kind of thing. And what I'm talking about is that it had a great creator who did fantastic things, pushed the book to the edges of everything it could be. And then somebody's got to eventually follow up on that. And no matter what happens, you have the shadow of what those people did to the book. No matter what goes on with Swamp Thing, there's always the shadow of what Alan Moore did with it, and so on. You follow me? So Jeff Johns, Skyver, Gibbons, all these people did these fantastic things with from Green Lantern Rebirth all the way to Blackest Night, and it carried over to DC 52 a little bit. But anyway, Morrison comes on, and instead of trying to run from that shadow and stuff, he just sort of took exactly what Green Lantern was, a space cop, and he wrote it a little bit more like Law and Order, put him on a mission as a cop. We get to see him be a space cop, and he did 12 issues, which was considered season 1 later on of Green Lantern. And then he did this 3-issue Dark Stars, right? Little run there. And then he goes into Green Lantern season 2, and there was 12 issues of that. Later on, I would read a little snafu, a little article, a little quote there, something like that, where he's really was surprised with the sales of comics after being gone to Heavy Metal and coming back, and he was being as polite as possible is what I think. I think he was being he was watching what he said a little bit, not that he really gave a shit, but I think he just didn't want to be mean, if you follow what I'm saying, right? But that's why we don't get a lot of Grant Morrison books. He was very surprised on what comic books sell compared to what he did back in the day. You know, he made the comment. So anyway, we had these, this was 12 issues. I think I have 9 here. I've already ordered 1, 4, and 7 that wasn't in this. Now, how much did I pay for these? I stopped pre-ordering these, right? Just because, you know, because I knew one day I'd be able to find them cheaper, right? This is $4 books and $5 books, brand new, even though I was getting a 35% discount. So how much did 9 issues of the 12 cost me that are in mint condition? 99 cents on eBay, folks. 99 cents. This was 99 cents, not counting shipping. 99 cents, and they were packed well, and I got it was one of my better eBay experiences this year, right? I got these within 3 or 4 days. You know, with reasonable shipping. 99 cents for these, right? And if you look at them, what's fun is that they each come with 2 covers. There's variant covers. I kind of prefer these because they harken back and have a Silver Age feel. I think I just need to do a show where I just talk about, you know, Grant Morrison and my viewpoint of some of the stuff he does, because Morrison's one of us. He actually read comics, loves the Silver Age, and he'll take anything. And I think what he does, in my opinion, is that he will read, like when he did his Batman run, he went back and read everything he could get his hands on from DC on Batman, going back to like the 50s and stuff, right? And then his mind would have been an empty cup, and he filled it up. And once it was filled up, he came up with all these plots where he used everything that he found on Batman. The Batman Club, the Damian Wayne, just everything and anything that ever happened, right? So anyway, the first there's full of Easter eggs. So it was so fun about the first run of Green Lantern's Grant Morrison's Green Lantern run. He had actually ended up on a planet of vampires, playing up on those old B movies, and he had all kinds of Liam Sharp, and he drew all kinds of vampires from other movies and stuff. If you recognize them and stuff, right? A lot of fun. Yeah, little romance comics going there. But he plays around with a lot of things. I love this version, of Hal Jordan there, and then the big double-sized number 12 ending there and stuff, right? But Liam Sharp knocked it out of the ballpark. He was having a ball with his artwork. Grant Morrison wasn't getting too out there being Grant Morrison-y. We still had a few moments. So it was good stuff. All right. Breen says Silencer was the best of the bunch. That was the book, if I remember right, that John Romita Jr. came on. At least he did the cover. I probably have a number 1 here somewhere. And if I remember right, it was a Martha Washington looking lady with a lot of guns and ammo. Okay. Tat Comics, man, haven't seen you in forever. Great to see you, Tat. Morrison on Green Lantern sounds great. I remember an article where Gaiman said he would love to write Green Lantern, really explore their space cop aspect. That's what Morrison did. And somewhere up here, I have a story. It's not hard to find, but they took Neil Gaiman's first actual script for a comic book, brought in all these artists, and put it out as a one shot, and it was Superman and Green Lantern. And the whole Neil Gaiman's whole idea, he wrote the story around the one moment where you have Superman in hell, and he wanted to write about how Superman's super senses in hell would make him react. It's got a Frank Miller cover on it and stuff. Think he only got to do the Legend of the Green Flame book. There it is, Sumerian. You nailed it. That's exactly what it is. Sumerian gets total credit for that. I heard romance comics and got excited, but it was only a dopey Green Lantern. I have some romance comics here. I actually have some spicy ones also. So there you go. So went to a flea market, and it was one of those days where I had things to do, but you know me, right? So I got up, I went out, ran an errand here and there, passed the flea market up, and then I was like, hey, I'm all right. Didn't really think about it. Ended up passing it up again, and all of a sudden I felt a tug. This is the same flea market that I got Moon Knight #1 and that Marvel Spotlight book with Moon Knight in and stuff for like nothing, and trade and all that stuff. And I went by again. Finally, I just went ahead and went on in there. And as I'm walking around, I see the box, and the vendor is not there, of course, right? But I see a box, and it's huge, just a cardboard box. And I see the top of it, and I'm like, dear God, don't tell me those are Life magazines. Don't tease me like this, because I was thinking it's Conan. I get over there. Yes, it is Conan. So I went through. I could have got a better deal if the vendor was there. I bought off of him before, but I had to go straight forward with these. These were still reasonable, and I went through and I got, I don't know, 95% of the ones that were in good shape. There's still some left there. I don't know if I'll go back again or not, right? So the first thing that I get is the Conan the Destroyer Marvel Super Special movie adaptation, right? Great stuff. Now, Savage Sword of Conan, I have to really explain. These are near and dear to my heart. I hate that we don't have them. There's a reason they disappeared as I was growing up and stuff in the house, but throughout the late 70s and early 80s, there was tons of Conan magazine stuff, even the Savage Tales stuff and everything like that. Savage Tales with Conan with I think it's what it was, with the severed head on the cover looking right at you and stuff, that was in the house forever. And there would always be a Savage Sword of Conan book laying around the house somewhere, that came out every month and stuff, right? It was just a given. It was like, you get these as you go to the store, you just know to get this, like how to you need a milk, you know what I mean? So whenever there was one, they were all over the house, and I would just read them and study them and love the artwork, the black and white, the pinups, everything that was going on. And then there was Conan pulp novels everywhere and stuff, right? So Conan, you have comic book collecting, but then you have the Conan stuff that's its own entity in the house, right? So having these around the house is it's as common. It was as common as having a coaster stacked up over somewhere. Something, you know what I mean? This was part of coming over to the Howler abode, if you will, right? I mean, everybody was into Conan there. Conan was everywhere. And you would see Robert E. Howard books stacked up with some biography on Jim Morrison. Nobody gets out of here alive. So you know what I mean. I put all of this together with the way the house was, right? So you had these fantastic covers. They started up through the '80s. Like I said, I just went through and picked out the best ones. I love seeing the old advertisements on here, the alternative comics. And these were fantastic because by making them magazine form, as probably everybody out there knows, this was a way for them to get around the Comic Code Authority. So I didn't really, I flipped through the comics, but in the Marvel Treasury editions, which I have over here, the classic stories Robert E. Howard adapted and everything like that. But it's these that were Conan. This was sex. You saw Conan's butt every now and then. This was decapitations and violence and everything, maps and letter columns and stuff, right? Conan could be Conan, if you will. All right. So it was fantastic to see these. I've already flipped through these, and like I said, the ads on the back and stuff. If I'd just not been a kid and had the money, I would have ordered a lot of stuff off here. But I was sitting there collecting GI Joe points off my GI Joe figure, so I could order toys you couldn't buy in the store. And like I said, there's a few more I would love to go back and get. And this one, there's like 4 or 5 of them that were just embedded in my head, right? This book floated around the house for over a decade. I mean, it would just turn up and be laying there. So it's great to have that one back. This is number 99. But yeah, this is one of those classic, in my mind, images of Conan just because it was around so much, right? Yeah, and then we got some headlight covers, if you will, if we'll call them that. Gory, ugly monsters, scantily clad women. No, that is not Red Sonja. But then they turn around and, if you saw the Conan movie, sometimes Conan could be, it was real easy for a witch to get Conan and bring him in. And then like the covers, just like Jusko came on, and the covers just elevated when Joe Jusko came on. That's got to be a Jusko. It is 87. All right. Yeah. Got after freezing in the mountains and killing Cthulhu and stuff, you just got to relax with some ale and dancing women, the way it was meant to be. Then they would balance it out where he would find some wolf women up in the mountains, And then this is what I wished I could find. I have an idea what happened to them, right? But in the land of role-playing games during the 80s, that role-playing really took off and stuff, you had the Hyborian War. And what you would do is you would mail it in. You would write in for a free, no obligation setup and rules, which I did. And then the fees were $5, $7, and $9. And when you're 13, 14 years old, 12 to 13, 14 years old, somewhere in that time period, that actually is, it's a lot of money. But what's going on is that in your head, you're like, that's skating rink, it's this, that's that, your allowance, you really got to pick and choose. So I ended up playing this off and on for a year. And going by memory, what would happen is that you would mail in your stuff, and then they would supposedly compare you in a group with other people who are making decisions about one of their Hyborian kingdoms. And in 6 to 8 weeks, I think, you would get an envelope and open it up, and you would read what was going on, and then you would have to make decisions and mail it back. Defend your kingdom. You've been invaded. Are you going to do this? Kind of like Sims before there were Sims. But anyway, ask about our Duel Masters game also, right? So I vaguely remember this because I remember paying that money, and it seems like I just got maybe 4 or 5 envelopes back to me within a year. And I would kill to have them, right? It was good times. I love this cover. I may keep an eye out for it because this is well loved, well read. Those are fingerprints that have pulled the ink off of off the cover. I mean, how many times do you have to read a book? I'm just, hoping that it was reading. There wasn't lotion and tissue involved. But yeah, Savage Sword of Conan, the Hyborian War. You would get backup in these of other Robert E. Howard characters, Cole, and then Oh, how can I be going blank, man? I have this Solomon Kane. Good God. But I love this because I was like Solomon Kane and Conan on the same cover. I'm like, surely they're not trying to pull off some weird little crossover. No, they're not. Al Williamson of just classic clean comic fame. Flash Gordon, is exactly where my mind goes with him. Stuff came in, and they've illustrated a Solomon Kane poem by Robert E. Howard. Stuff, right? Just good stuff. Good stuff. And of course, by this time, Chuck Dixon, Roy Thomas would do some stuff. They'd have other artists come in. Your mainstays were usually like Joe Bashima, and then they bring in Ernie Khan, uh, Alfredo Alcalia, some other people and stuff. And then as they went on, there was people, I don't really know who they were, but you would have these great pinups, great inks. I mean, it was just the black and white of black and white. It was the standard for me. I was like, if you're going to do a black and white book, let's make this happen. Go back to this stuff and see how it's done. Huge. This and Tom Palmer were huge influence on my little doodles and art and stuff in high school and stuff. Back when I actually had a little bit of talent that was worth bragging about. A long time ago. All right. What we got here? Okay, I think he only got to do the Legend of the Green Flame book. Yep, you nailed that. We talked about that. I heard romance comics. Let me catch up. The stepdad and his friends ever played the Hyborian War mail-in game? Never met anyone who did. I just answered that. Yeah, we are, you and me, Sumerian. You and me, we're like right there. Screw the distance. We're right there. Yeah. We each had our moment with each other this morning, didn't we? Hopefully they used Charmin on the fingers because you can squeeze that. Charmin. Oh, Tat. Hopefully they use Charmin on their fingers because you can squeeze that off the book. I'm not going to ask any questions. I don't want to know. You gotta figure out, is it worth knowing? Ever see the Solomon Kane movie with Max von Sydow? Yes. And that thing is a classic. I absolutely loved it. And I'm trying to think. Oh man, it seems like the last 4 or 5 years have flown by for me, and it seems like I saw that on Amazon Prime there for a little bit if you stream, but I don't know how long ago that was. But that Solomon Kane movie, classic. It's one of those things where it's kind of cool that it didn't blow up. It's kind of like if you're in the know, you got something on other people. It's really cool. I don't mind when things are sort of underground. JLS Comics, good morning. All right, everybody say good morning to Tat. It's a reunion. Okay, so these were in here in this stack, and normally I'm very nice. If I don't like something, and I know some of my friends really like it, I don't crap on it. At least I try not to, unless the conversation keeps going on and on. But I tried this out because it was highly recommended by quite a few people. And it wasn't these particular books. It was this Dark Horse little mini universe, if you will, by such man, Jeff Lemire. And it was the Black Hammer stuff. Now, I'd already checked out Dr. Star because, and absolutely loved it because I started seeing this as an homage to other characters, with Golden Age ties and stuff like that, right? So me being a James Robinson fan, excuse me, of course I'm going to get this, right? So this is part of the Black Hammer. Now, I noticed it gets dark. It gets to the point that it's dark and depressing and stuff, right? A little bit with consequences and science and things that happen and stuff. So there's like this blast of reality at the same time, right? So I'm not big into books where everybody's a victim and it's all right to have feet of clay, but it's when that's the theme, when you're really digging into that instead of the heroics and stuff, right? It's a matter of taste. It's not a critique, right? So I ended up getting this Black Hammer with the Justice League, thinking it would be balanced out because I had had it recommended to me, right? So I ended up waiting to get all the issues of this. There's some doubles here, but Black Hammer, Justice League. I mean, I just found these, I found them in dollar boxes and stuff, and ordered a few online and stuff. And of course, it's got Bizarro. I mean, how can I not? I'm a huge Bizarro fan. So yeah, I went ahead and got these, started reading them, could not get past the second issue. I'm like, dear God, is this by Tom King? There's just some parts in here which just depressing. Then we got the World of Black Hammer Encyclopedia because I wanted to get caught up, and Black Hammer 3 for $1, 3 stories. So I figured this would be enough to give me a taste, right? Well, I need to go back and give this a chance because that Black Hammer Justice League, it just really felt like a downer. And then when I said that live with some people that had recommended the book with me on a show somewhere, I don't know if we were on the Fossil show, I don't know where we were. They were very disappointed. So now, since they were in the terrific stack, I didn't know they were in this stack of books. I'm going, that's the universe telling me, give it another try. So I'm going to give these another try before I get rid of them. So if you know Black Hammer or like Black Hammer or have something to recommend better than what I have, feel free. I'll check it out. Other than that, I'm going to be reading some Conan, getting this book, this room in order. I mean, it's a little at a time, but we're making progress and stuff, right? But anyway, that's about it. Work, looking for a new car, and just enjoying life as we can. It's a beautiful spring morning out there, man. I feel like I'm Mr. Rogers this morning. Oh, man. So that's about it. Sequential Geek came in. But anyway, guys, short show this morning. I'm not going to sit here and waste your time. I got things to do, things to read, and it was pretty straightforward this morning. So everybody be excellent to each other. Maybe I'll do another live stream tonight. I don't know. But anyway, like, subscribe, sub, go over there to Instagram. I might have a link in the bottom. And if you do Twitter, look at me be enthused. Look how enthusiastic I am about Twitter. Like, I'm trying to ask you to follow me on Twitter, and I'm like rolling my eyes. But anyway, Howler Mouse is on Twitter, Instagram, and that and stuff like that. But like I said, I kind of quote tweet and I quote tweet a little bit. A lot of people are really pissed off about this Henry Cavill situation not being Superman. They're holding on to the Snyderverse, and they're doing this, and there's a lot of James Gunn hate and stuff like that. I'm not really affected by it at all, right? I'm looking forward to some new stuff in a couple years. Whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, Twitter I play around on. If you follow me, I'll follow you back. That's pretty much how it's going to work. But Instagram, you'll probably see these hauls and a few other things and stuff before they come on. And like I said, like, subscribe, sub, let people know we're out there. And everybody have a happy Easter. And catch you later. Bye.